Of Oman television. First, the headlines. International health organizations confirm the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza and denounce the Israeli government's disregard for international humanitarian law. The Russian president warns of a direct Russian war with Western countries if they allow Ukraine to strike deep into Russia with long-range Western missiles. And China calls for promoting peace and negotiation to end conflicts in the world, equality among countries in international affairs and expression of rights. Welcome to our news center. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The Secretary General of Doctors Without Borders, Christopher Lockyer, described the humanitarian and health situation in the Gaza Strip as catastrophic. The Secretary General of the organization stressed that Israel is using humanitarian aid as a tool for political propaganda and that it does not allow the entry of necessary materials into the Strip, adding that Israel is ignoring international humanitarian law that guarantees the entry of aid and the lives and security of the health humanitarian workers. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization announced that the first round of vaccinations against polio in the Gaza Strip is nearing completion after approximately 552,000 children received the first dose of the vaccine, indicating that the second dose of the vaccine will begin after about 4 weeks. Today, more than 10 Palestinians were killed as a result of the Israeli raids on various areas of the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health reported that the raids targeted the vicinity of Salah ad-Din Mosque in the Zaytun neighborhood, while other raids targeted homes in the Nusayrat and Jabalia camps. Russia claimed that the air forces and artillery forces have attacked airport infrastructure and energy facilities used to support operations of Ukrainian troops over the past 24 hours. The Russian Defense Ministry said its air defense forces have shot down 59 drones over the past day. The large-scale Russian attack on Ukraine resulted in the death of 3 people and the injury of others southeast of Kharkiv. Meanwhile, the Russian president warned Western countries of war if they allowed Ukraine to strike deep into Russia with long-range Western missiles on the ground. The Russian forces reported that they continued to deal with the Ukrainian army troops in West Russia's Kursk Oblast bordering Ukraine, as it has recaptured 10 settlements from the Ukrainian troops in the region. However, the General of Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces issued a report claiming that there had been 79 encounters on front lines, most which took place in the directions of Pokrovsk and Khorakov, both in Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia had begun counter-offensive actions in Kursk, which is going in line with the Ukrainian plan. Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun called on major countries to take initiative in protecting global security during his speech at the opening of Xiangshan International Forum in the Chinese capital, Beijing, stressing that negotiation is the only solution to the end of conflict in the world, and that promoting peace and negotiation is the only way to deal with hot issues and end the Gaza war and the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, and that countries in the world, whether developed or not, small or large, have an equal and fair right to participate in international affairs and express their rights and common interests. More than 500 representatives from more than 90 countries, organizations and military officials participated in the forum. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has called for increased production of weapon-grade nuclear material to bolster his country's nuclear arsenal. During his visit to a uranium enrichment facility, Pyongyang showed for the first time images of centrifuges that produced fuel for its nuclear bombs. The images showed President Kim walking among long rows of metal centrifuges used to enrich uranium throughout. Although the report did not specify the timing of the visit, the location of the facility as well. In contrast, South Korea's Unification Ministry said it condemned North Korea's disclosure of uranium enrichment facility and would never accept Pyongyang possessing nuclear weapons. At least 20 people have died in floods that have swept across parts of Myanmar, while rescue teams have managed to move more than 3,600 displaced people to other areas around the capital, Naypyidaw. For its part, authorities in Bangladesh announced the death of at least 6 people and the injury of others in landslides caused by heavy rains. The authorities said that the landslides occurred in 2 separate places in the border area of Cox's Bazar, which includes the Rohingya camps, after 3 days of heavy monsoon rains. The country, located in South Asia, is still recovering from the floods that were formed by heavy rains and waters flowing from India. Still to come in our news bulletin. Over 30 rural women in Al-Dhahira Governorate are supported to start their home-based projects. Welcome back. The Google DevFest activities were launched in the wilaya of Salalah in Dhofar Governorate. The activities include a discussion session on artificial intelligence and innovation, in addition to workshops on developing web applications using Google technologies and developing business using artificial intelligence, automation tools, generative artificial intelligence, and cloud computing. The festival was organized under the patronage of His Highness Sayyid Marwan bin Turki Al Said, Governor of Dhofar. In order to preserve water resources and also agricultural landscapes, the Directorate General of Agriculture, Wealth and Water Resources continues maintenance projects for a number of villages in Al Baraymi Governorate. The maintenance projects covered around 30 villages, including 16 villages in the wilaya of Al Baraymi and 14 villages in the wilaya of Mahada. The villages were previously affected by the adverse weather conditions, costing around 400,000 Omani Riyals for the maintenance. Owners of the farms and cattle in the Governorate of Al Baraymi were joyous as the level of water increased due to the maintenance of the villages. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources aided over 30 rural women in Al-Dhahira Governorate to start home-based projects in cooperation with Petroleum Development Oman that funded such projects. The fund covered projects in the field of agriculture, beekeeping and livestock. Women working in such fields received the necessary funds, tools and also guidance to start their businesses and launch their own unique line of products. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. International health organizations confirm the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza and denounce the Israeli government's disregard for international humanitarian law. The Russian president warns of a direct Russian war with Western countries if they allow Ukraine to strike deep into Russia with long-range Western missiles. And China calls for promoting peace and negotiation to end the conflicts in the world, equality among countries in international affairs, and expression of rights. With that, we do come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, it is good night, stay safe, and have a lovely weekend.